repeat the whole thing. I'm not going to start again. Anyway, I'm sorry, the viewers, that I forgot to turn it on for the first critical and important part of this discussion. We shall review the bottom line, but so what we've said so far is as follows. This is by analyzing the various sources, we come to the following conclusion. But before that, the basic question is, when Moshe Rabbeinu... Wait, close the door. No, you have bad hips. So Moshe Rabbeinu is reviewing the event of the golden calf, and he says, I took hold of the 10 commandments and I cast them down and broke them. Why in heaven's name does he say he took hold of them when he was holding them anyway? So we're starting to explain that by introducing the following. Fact number 1, we know that Moshe Rabbeinu, the first set, God gave them to him personally. Fact number 2, we know that the second set God also gave to him personally, and in his generosity, he gave them to the people. The logical conclusion of that is he would have done the same thing with the first. Namely, as soon as he received it humbly on behalf of the entire Jewish people to whom he was bequeathing it. So I'm just saying, I'm reminded when Menachem Begin came to the Rebbe in 1977, so that was a very big event that the Prime Minister, he actually got a lot of criticism within the Israeli government that a Prime Minister is going to the Rabbi goes to the Prime Minister. But he said, no, I'm going to the Rebbe, and he did. Shazar also, actually before him, President Shazar, had 1970 had come to the Rebbe as president. That's when the whole uproar was. It was for both of them. And Shazar said, what do they want from me? I'm a chassid going to my Rebbe. I can't go to my Rebbe. Anyway, when Menachem Begin came, so the Rebbe, the media was inside the Rebbe's room. It was a huge event. And then after some talk in the presence of the media, Israeli and the U.S. media, then the Rebbe they were closeted together for a long time. Just the Rebbe talking to Menachem Begin. Like as when Shazar came, initially there was public, and many people in the room, rabbis and dignitaries, journalists, and then they all left and it was private. But when Menachem Begin came, the Rebbe said that this honor, someone mentioned it, it's not his personal honor, it's what he represents. And he basically was talking about Russian Jewry, that Lubavitch, its roots are in Russia, and it's Russian Jews and the movement that he represents, for which he is receiving the honor. It's not his honor, it's the honor of the people. That's what he was saying. Similar to Moshe Rabbeinu, that when he received the Luchot, in his mind right away, this is not for me, this is for everyone. So now what happens is, bottom paragraph. So now we've established that when he received the first commandment, the first set of tablets, like the second, in his mind immediately he's receiving it on behalf of who? People. The people. So now Lachem in Cain. So after that, Kishara Moshe b'nei Yisrael chotim. Now when he sees and he's told that the Jewish people have sinned, he chlit lishbor et haluchot. He decided to break them, and now it's a problem. Elasheka nit'orera baya. Now a question asserts itself. What's the problem? A problem. Since Moshe had already intended the moment he received them, right before that he was granting this to the Jewish people. So what's the problem? So when he thought that he's going to give it to the Jewish people, so this intent blemishes, as it were, his ownership. If he has in mind to receive on behalf of the people, when he receives it, he's not receiving it as the singular owner. And what's the problem? Good. Problem is, for Natzach Shash, so now is the problem, maybe by breaking them, he is damaging the property of the Jewish people, which he has no right to do. If it was his, and he broke it, you have the right to do with your property, you can break them. But at the very outset, he had the intent to receive it on behalf of the people, right as he have now, to break something which belongs to the people. And that's why that answers our problem. Next page. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu, after hearing that the Jewish people have sinned, he has to now reacquire them, so that he's breaking his own tablets, not theirs, for which he has. He doesn't have the right. So how does he do that? In halacha, to acquire something, you have to lift it. So now he's making like a second lifting. It's a symbolic thing. He's already holding them anyway. When you all got married, you had to raise the, right? You had to lift the kerchief. By lifting it, you were acquiring all of the obligations outlined in the ketubah. You were lifting it, you were acquiring the garment, and with that you were acquiring the obligations. So there's this idea of a kinyan, of an acquisition, that happens when you physically take hold of something and lift it, or even just take hold of it. So that's what the meaning is. I grasped it means I reaffirmed, or I reclaimed my personal ownership through a physical lifting, in order to now neutralize, nullify his original thought, which I'm going to give it to the people. That's got to be now nullified. Take it for himself, and he can break it. And to restore for himself his exclusive ownership, davar, something, a matter, a fact, which now allowed him lishborotam, to break them, leloch shash, without any halachic considerations. They're his exclusively. So that's the answer. He's holding them already. What does it mean, I grasped them? He's saying, when I first received them, I had in mind for you. That would be a problem. Why am I break? How can I break them? They're yours. Therefore, I grasped them. I reaffirmed my ownership, and I nullified my previous thought that I was going to take it on your behalf. So that's the halachic answer to this mystery and riddle. I grasp. You're holding them. Now we know the answer. Now a beautiful addition.
He sold them on eBay and made a fortune.
Mm-hmm. I told you, by the way, that these broken tablets, what happened to them? So there are two views, but the end all agree. The end, at the time of Shlomo HaMelech, they were placed in the original ark underneath the second set. So the second set were on top, and below that, in the holy ark, were the broken tablets. Before that, they were in their own ark. They had their own ark. There were two arks. An ark for the broken tablets, an ark for the second whole tablets. When the Jews would go to war, etc., the ark that traveled in front of them was the one with the broken tablets. Which, by the way, raises the question, I saw that Rebbe asks, and I'd have to see the answer. I don't remember the answer, I didn't read the answer. The broken tablets are something negative. Maybe we'll have the answer here. The broken tablets, something, what?
I thought they were swooped back up into the mountain.
No. The broken, they're still there in the temple ground underneath in the ark. But the question is, when they would go to war, it would be the broken tablets in their own separate ark. So, but the ark would go ahead of them and defeat their enemies as God's protection. What's the question I'm arriving at? What am I going to get asked now? What?
Why going with the broken tablets first? Go with the unbroken ones.
Yeah, but it's not fine. Let's take the question further. You want to invoke God's merit. The whole point is the ark goes ahead of you and protects divine protection, but the broken tablets are all about divine displeasure.
That's right.
It's a negative thing. How is this negative event a schut, a merit that protects the Jews when they went to war? Good question. Now that kind of might be answered by what's coming next. The fact
that there's war indicates that things
what?
The fact that there's war indicates that the world is broken, that you're still having war. So maybe it's
all right. That's
with a realization that it's a broken world
and things have to be fixed still. Okay, that's part of it too. I'm sure.
Good guess.
Yeah, it's a nice guess. Okay, but maybe we'll get something here too, an insight. Yiduim divrei Chazal. It's known the words of our sages. Shakadosh Baruch Hu Amar, that God, when He said the Ten Commandments, as you all know, He used the singular first person singular. Tu, not vu, right? As if God's talking to one person, when the fact is he's talking to millions, and for that matter, he's talking to all Jews in all generations. So it's billions. So why do you use the singular? Anochi Hashem Elokecha, as opposed to Anochi Hashem Elokechem. So this is a very famous question that even Rashi has to address, that a child would ask such a question, learning Chumash. So the answer, as you know, we spoke about this many times, Belashon Yachid, why did God use the singular? Kedei, in order, quote, Liton Pischon Pele Moshe, in order to give Moshe an argument, a defense, an opening to argue, Lelamed Saniguria, in order to give a defensive argument. But Ma'aseh Ha'egel, when the Jews worshipped the golden calf, God was already at the beginning, when he gave the Ten Commandments, he phrased it in such a way that Moshe Rabbeinu should be able to use and have a defense against, on behalf of the Jewish people. What's the defense? You told me, not them. Lo lahem tzivita. He would turn to God and say, what do you want? They served the golden calf and they violated. You shall have no gods before me. He didn't say that to them. You said that to me. Elali levadi. And he actually used that argument. He did. And we read that every fast day from Parshat Kitisa. Why are you angry at the people? God, Moshe says to God, why am I angry? They violated the first and most important of the Ten Commandments. So what does it mean? Why? But his point being, why are you angry at them when you didn't command them? You only commanded me. So now, having said that, this is going to give us deeper insight to grabbing Moshe Rabbeinu, grasping and reaffirming his ownership. We'll have a deeper insight now. And we can explain also in our case over here, this event here of affirming his ownership over the Luchot. What's going on over here on a deeper level? Mitzad godel avato shel Moshe la'am Yisrael. Because of his great love for the Jewish people, Lo rotza Moshe, he didn't want sheshvidet haluchot, that the breaking of the tablets tizakef b'tzurakel shel he should have any association at all, and add to lechovatam shel bnei Yisrael, the guilt of the Jewish people. They're mine, I broke them. The broken tablet should not be associated anyway with the people, out of his great love. It's all part of his great love. Therefore he reaffirmed them, he grasped them. Now he's taking them to his own personal possession, so that the breaking is his responsibility, and that should not be exclusively and not associated in any way with what? With whom? With the people. From here we learn Al Godel Mesirot Nafsho, the great self-sacrifice Shel Moshe, of Moshe Leman Yisrael, for the Jewish people. Moshe Rabbeinu was not connected in any way, shape, or form with his terrible sin. You can't even, he's not even guilty of not rebuking them. Sometimes if you see someone or a community sinning and you don't say anything, even though you didn't sin, you're a little bit guilty because you could have stopped them. You can't even accuse him of that. He wasn't there. He was on the mountain. And he wasn't at all there at the time when the people sinned. And despite that, he's completely innocent. Not only that he stands against God and he as it were challenges God, and he demands that God forgive them, and he goes even further. And what does he say? And he says, if you don't, he takes it upon himself. And what does he say? If you don't forgive them, remove me from your Torah. He threatens. He puts his life on the line, physically and spiritually. Moshe Rabbeinu, his whole life is Torah. And yet he's saying, take me out of your Torah if you don't forgive the people. So not only that, consistent with this incredible love and devotion is the story we're reading about now. That Lo Zol Bilvad Sheshavar et Luchot, not only did he break the tablets, why did he break them? Kedei shelo yifgo b'am Yisrael. He broke the tablets because he didn't want the Jews to look bad. It's the story, Rashi explains why he broke the tablets. What's the story? The matter can be likened to a king who had a only daughter princess, and she was engaged, betrothed to be married, and then she sinned. So there was the betrothal contract was written up, and the king was very angry at her. That's the Jewish people, and so the king's devoted minister, he tore up the marriage contract right away to protect the girl. There's no marriage. There's no marriage contract. She's not that guilty because there's no marriage contract. So here, the marriage contract, I'm God, your Lord, the covenant, he breaks it, so it's kind of to destroy any evidence of a marriage contract. The whole thing was done for the Jewish people. But now he wants to go the next step. They shouldn't be even guilty of God saying, I gave you the commandments and you destroy them. No, they might. He removes all guilt from the Jewish people. He breaks the commandments that belong to him. It's all consistent with his incredible love and defense of the Jewish people, where he's sacrificing himself to the nth degree. Remove me from your Torah, he breaks the commandments. But to remove any association of guilt to the Jewish people, that the commandments that were theirs got shattered, they were my commandments. That's all part of, on a deeper level, his incredible love for the people. That's inside Elohu. Not only that, yes? I'm just going to finish the sentence, okay? Your question. We'll try to answer you. Ela'af. So not only does he break the Ten Commandments like the king's close advisor who tears up the marriage contract to defend the king's daughter, where the king's daughter, and he breaks the Ten Commandments. Not only that, our story, Elo af tafas b'luchot, he even reclaimed them, ve'viram lebaluto ishit, and he now transfers them to his personal possession, kedei, in order shegam ashmat ashvira, even the guilt of the breaking, lo tachul al ha'am, should not fall, not be associated with the people, ela shetiyeh shelo bilvad, him alone. He's guilty of it. That's how absolute is his devotion to the Jewish people and his sacrifice. He takes everything on his shoulders. Yes, Michael.
Okay, so I get it. I mean, with betrothal, it's the minister rips it up. The written contract is not there. Protects the girl. Same thing here. The written contract, the tablets are destroyed before they actually become in writing in front of the people. And so, but what? In both cases, there's a verbal commitment by the daughter, the girl, the Jewish people, Nasiv and Nishma. They heard they said, we will do and we will understand. How do you get around?
It's true.
That part?
So he didn't mitigate the guilt altogether, but he just diminished it. He did whatever he could. You're right. He couldn't no problem. There was never a contract. There was never an engagement. There was never a commitment. That didn't happen. They were punished and God was angry, but he mitigated it by all of these things, by destroying the tablets, etc. But you're right, not completely, because as you say, there was a verbal commitment. So, but at least he did whatever he could to diminish their culpability, their
But they had 2,000 years of Galus after that, because of the golden calf.
The 2,000 years of Golos.
How is that mitigation?
No, that didn't cause 2,000 years of Golos. The Golos was caused by our sins. What you're referring to is that the punishment for that was so great that God said, when you'll sin, additionally, you'll get this also. But that didn't cause the Golos. Anytime we do tshuva, and if it will be complete, we end the galut. Even then, and certainly now. So along these lines, we've also shared with you, and this may kind of answer the question, again, see what the Rebbe says, but why the broken tablets would be the ones that went before the people when they went to war, when it seems it's all negative. But already we're seeing the broken tablet shows the incredible bond between the Jewish people and their leader. It conveys the whole idea of sacrifice. So it's a great merit.
It wasn't the bond between the Jewish people and the leader. It was the bond with the leader with the Jewish
That's
people.
true. Yeah. But let me just continuing that theme as follows: that the end of the Torah, the very last line. So there it says, talks about the wonders and miracles that Moshe Rabbeinu performed before the eyes of all Israel. So Rashi says from our sages, what was that which he performed in the eyes of all Israel that everybody saw? It was the breaking of the tablets. They're all there at the foot of Mount Sinai, and they're all seeing him come down, and that's how the Torah ends. So the Torah ends with the event of the breaking of the tablets, which is very strange, the Rebbe says. So that should be the final. You want to end on a positive note. We have a principle in Torah that says, Hakol holech acharei achitum, everything follows the conclusion, which surely the conclusion should be a positive one, which, by the way, it's a halacha. The Torah is, we call up 7 people, or 3 people. Now, it's not hard and fast which point you call. I mean, many communities, when you have a simcha, they call up people many more than 7. But there's one rule. You have to, 2 rules. You have to read at least 3 verses, and number 2, you can't stop at something negative. If it's a bad story, if it's sin or whatever, you got to continue and then read the next few verses. You don't end on a bad note. That seems to contradict the fact that the entire Torah ends in a bad note, terrible note. And moreover, the Torah says, Asher asa, which he did. Asher asa. Now in Hebrew, you could just say she'asa. You don't have to say Asher. The word which is superfluous. She'asa, one word. That he did, which in Hebrew is one word. So the word Asher comes from the word Ashrei, fortunate. Thank you. Hashem said thank you. Yesher koach, these are the words. Yasher koach sheshibarta. Thank you for breaking the tablets. That's how the Torah ends. Because really it's the most positive thing. It shows the incredible love of Moshe Rabbeinu to the people. And how Moshe Rabbeinu puts the people even before the Torah. He breaks the commandments. Why? To mitigate and protect the people and their relationship with God. And the Torah wants to end on that note. Judaism and Torah is there to serve the Jew, not the other way around. It's a very deep point. So it's not a negative thing the Torah ends with. Actually, it's a very positive thing. Now you had a question.
I had
A few.
comments, like
Okay.
vis-a-vis the breaking of the tablets. Can we say it's similar to the destruction of the temple in that the people were spared and the
Yes.
stone was destroyed?
Yeah. Yes. Answer that is yes.
So we